And we're live. YouTube is acting a little bit on me, so I want to make sure that you can hear everyone in the call first. So Matt, can you try saying something?
Yeah, hello. Is the audio there?
I think it
Are
should
we
be
good?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
You hear me?
All right. All right, everyone. Well, welcome to Prusa Live number 5. This has been going great, and we are super happy to be back. We have a great show with you today. I'm, of course, here with Nicholas Zusa and our leader, Joseph Prusa. We're going to have a good time. We also have Lauren Renee from Abuzz Designs and one of the co-organizers of ERRF with us today. So we're super happy to have her. But you know, let's jump into things. First things first, I just want to remind everyone our latest contest on PrusaPrinters is going right now. You have until the end of the month to get your entries in for upcycling your PrusaMint spools and your PrusaMint boxes. I've got to say, the results that have been coming in, the entries that have been coming in so far are fantastic. They are so good. They are so far beyond what I ever would have thought or expected people to be doing with these spools, and I'm so incredibly excited. But as part of that, I think we actually might have something from that for one of our PrusaPrinters picks of the week. Hey Joe, what did you bring this week?
So it is this wonderful shelf. I mean, these are the faces of the spool, but you can see these pieces connecting it. It is done by me, Imakina, and it is wonderful. I mean, if you make a shelf out of it, it looks badass. I'm going to outfit a couple of these in my own apartment, and I would love to see some other iterations on that. By that, I mean, I bet you can make a pretty nice table for a plant or something to raise it up a little bit. So I'm pretty excited. I've heard that last week when I gave some advice, that we actually got some videos of the spool copter flying.
Yeah.
Do you have it, Nicholas? Maybe for later.
Yeah, I will look for it. So maybe while Matt is showing his print of the week, I will secretly be looking for it. Also, you asked for the longer pulley for the spinning toy thing, and someone made that as well. So that's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, that's great. We love seeing that this is like directly like feeding back into what you guys are working on, and it really, you know, kind of is inspirational for us to keep doing these things, as well as how great the feedback we've been getting from all of you is. So it's really great. So my pick of the week, I've been doing a lot of home improvement and woodworking projects. I got a new house at the end of last year. And now that the weather's getting nice, it's all about fixing things. So I printed a really nice sanding block off of PrusaPrinters, of course, created by, I want to say GG underscore ZR7. The nice thing about this one is it doesn't need any external hardware. All the screws are printed, and the sandpaper wraps inside of it. And I can get to sanding. I've been doing a ridiculous amount of sanding on things, mostly with power sanders, but you got to get those little details things every once in a while. It's so much easier to do by hand. So this is going to be great. I've been wrapping sandpaper around bits of 2x4s and things like that, but this will make it a little bit easier to change things out. So super cool.
These are nice. So is there a version which has like a tippy end? If you want to go really into tight corners?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them out there, and there's also some bow sanders, and I'm really interested in the bow sanders because then like you can get to a corner and kind of work a corner. And so I think actually like this is the first I've printed, and there's going to be a whole bunch of them that I'm going to do.
Yeah, I have a project of a custom table for my flat, so I'm definitely going to be using these.
Yeah. Is it going to be an open source table there, Joe? Or are we going to start to see furniture hitting PrusaPrinters?
I mean, we will see. I haven't been working with wood for a long time, maybe like 14, 16 years.
But there's a CNC down in the
there is
the shop, right?
I'm already picking out nice wood.
Oh, nice. What do you got there?
Oh, it is in Czech it's dupe, but I don't remember the name in English.
Okay.
It is a pretty hard wood, pretty durable.
Interesting.
I think it's the
great.
American National Tree. That didn't help.
Let
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, is it walnut?
No, that would be osech.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure it out.
Oh, I think it's oak.
Oh, it's oak. Okay. All right. I don't like machining oak. And I don't know anyone who likes machining oak. So if you are going to do it on the CNC,
why are you making
there be dragons?
My motivation for the project. Oh, you really don't want to machine oak. No.
It tears out really bad on router bits. But
Chet is having a good time seeing you woodworking.
Yeah. We've changed the 3D printing discussion to the woodworking channel. So I'll bring my cornhole boards on next time. So
I will ship the giant wood plank to you, and you will machine it for me.
I was gonna say, like, I could. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Anyways, Nicholas, what do you have for us this week? You have something extra special for us.
I have something extra special. I'm cheating. I've been working on this for quite some time. And it's Claptrap from the Borderlands game. The original model was done by Chaos Cortec. Kudos, man. Like, really, he's done it in Fusion 360. Like, I can't imagine, like, modeling something like this in Fusion 360. I've remixed the model to make space for the electronics for my latest article. I don't know what voice line we'll get, but...
Allow me to introduce myself. I am a CL14.
Yeah, if you press the button, you get a...
I look good.
He will now be blabbering for quite some time. Shut up. All of these are so long.
You need to program some voices like, don't disturb me, I'm working.
Yeah.
When people come into your office and, want something from you.
And David, our artist who paints makes models for exhibitions, painted him. And he did like an amazing job. So really, I think it looks incredible. If you want to learn how to do this, on our YouTube channel, there's a 15-minute tutorial that covers really everything, pretty much. So, yeah.
It is a very complex video. I'm proud of what Nicholas can do.
Thank you.
Yeah. I really want to get David on the show, too, to do some, beginner step-by-step points on how to paint models, because the stuff that he does is just incredible.
Oh yeah,
really
Chet, would you like to see David? He paints all the stuff. He makes incredible. Yeah. Let us know.
Oh, that is a good idea.
I've been telling Nicholas this for like a month or so now that I want to get David on, and so
we could pick a simple model, tell everyone like a week in front of the stream. And people could collaborate how it will be painted.
Yeah.
The colors and the designs.
We could Bob Ross it on the stream, and so
we could do it in like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Of course,
my God. Tom, Filament Friends in the chat has the best idea. Like live Adjust Z. That would be pretty funny.
But also, PrusaPrinters. We've had lots of great models on here, but we've also got some updates to PrusaPrinters. Nicholas, what all's been going on there? I know there's been some big performance enhancements.
Yeah, some really nice quality of life things. So the one thing is sorting files. So if you now sort by top rated, the results are pretty really accurate. So there's this whole equation. It's really kind of complex how it works, but basically it keeps in mind number of downloads, ratings, relevance to what you're searching, all of that. So that is one thing. And another thing, and it's kind of similar, is search. So if you now search for something, it's way smarter. So it's not just looking for, plain text or something. It's looking for similar words, models, and it sorts them by whatever you pick. But when you pick, for example, likes or top rated, it's not like the simple version where it just picks the most like or most top rated, but it still keeps in mind all the other factors. So if there's like low match with your search term, it will penalize those models and it will put them down. So search and sorting should now be much nicer to use.
Yeah, this is awesome because I mean the more PrusaPrinters grows, the more important it is that you actually find the things that you're looking for and you get access to those awesome things. And so seeing search improvements, which isn't easy, you kind of touched on that. But yeah. I can directly say from past experience on writing search on other sites that share files that search is definitely not an easy thing to do on these things. So it's really great that we're making those improvements.
The best explanation I saw in these release notes is, it doesn't make sense if you have model with just 1 5-star rating to be in front of model which has 4.95 with 1,000 ratings.
Right.
Yeah. I wanted to show you the features, but we are actually getting some more features right now, apparently, because PrusaPrinters is just down for a quick few-minute maintenance. So
all right.
Our devs are constantly pushing new features and fixes. So just like with everything we do, it's constant updates.
Yeah, which is awesome. Which is also a perfect tie-in to our next topic. Speaking of constant updates. We have new firmware out for the Mini, and it is great. Super excited about some of the new features coming out for the Mini. Highlights: the printer now pauses when you remove the USB drive. So if something happens and your USB drive gets knocked out, you don't have to worry about entirely ruining the print. It now pauses. If you're connected to the network, we've got NTP time, so it's actually connecting to the internet to get time, and
we need to tell people, don't just yank it out just to,
right.
That's fun. Literally what I did when I was testing it. But yeah, don't do it. Don't do it for no reason.
Really important, but as with all the recoveries, once you break the flow, there might be a small artifact. But it is very good. And, sometimes it is weird. You forget to plug the USB drive all the way in. And as the printer shakes, it loses context for a couple of milliseconds, and it would ruin your print. So it is mostly for these things.
Yeah. Also cats and children, right? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things happen. But yeah. Mickey, do you want to talk a little bit about the NTP time and network?
I think this was really, Joe's idea, or at least Joe was the most excited about it, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about this for since the time we agreed that all the printers starting with Mini will have Ethernet capabilities. Because it just makes complete sense that printer is telling you the exact time where you can come pick up the print and when you will be finished. So this is the first iteration, and but what will be happening in upcoming versions is that we will be redoing the printing screen. That you will have more things, because right now we are aware of that you can either have the finish time or the remaining time, and some people are used to seeing how many hours and minutes is remaining, or days in some cases. But we will be revamping this so it is more you can see more information at a glance. And my idea for that when I was sketching it out is that you have printer on the other side of the room and you just want to see it at a glance. So the whole background will be like the progress bar. So even though you see it with the peripheral vision, you will know roughly how much into the print it is, and big two numbers, the time when it will finish and the time remaining.
I like that.
We should like scroll up the background color of the entire screen, so when the entire screen is filled with a color, the
Yeah,
print is done.
that is the idea. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking from left to right because people are still used to like the progress bars.
Yeah. I just like building up just like a print. That was my only thought, that it
Oh,
would be
okay.
kind of neat like that. But either way, also the screen is taller than it is wide, so it gives us more ability there. But whatever, each would be great. Are we going to make all the Americans learn military time or 24-hour time, or are we going to have a 12-hour adjustment option?
I don't have my time with me, but that was a thing I strongly suggested to the firmware team, that we need to make it switchable to have like 12 hours.
Yeah. I know people struggle with that from time to time when it's in 24-hour time.
I mean, if we need, maybe we could also add an analog clock.
Yeah.
with the
Hey,
hand.
3D printing has already done a great job of making Americans get used to metric time. So maybe metric
Units.
measurements. So
Yeah.
maybe we can get them used to 24-hour time too.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's in Slicer 2.2 or 2.3, but we are adding an inches.
Interesting.
I mean, that you can much easier work with inches.
Oh yeah. I know that there's already some conversions that are coming
Yeah.
up. So yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really am excited about in the new firmware is the new improved filament loading. So the Mini is our first machine to incorporate a Bowden extruder, or a remote extruder, and you have to fully heat up the hot end, or before the new firmware, you had to completely heat up the hot end and then wait for that to come up to temperature to be able to load it. Now, thankfully, you can kind of load past the extruder and through part of the tube while it waits to heat up, and then once it's fully up to temperature, it'll just go ahead and start feeding itself. So you don't have to kind of wait for it or babysit it quite as long during that process, which I think is really great.
Yeah, this will slowly migrate to other printers too, because we know that some people are with some filaments. We don't really see it in our tests, but during the mesh bed leveling, it leaves the little dots. So the preheating, just to like save temperature for not to do the little boogers, but still pretty fast to heat up for the actual print. We will be implementing it with the rest of the printers too.
Yeah, and we've also improved the heat up times and nozzle temperature regulation also.
Yeah, quite a bit actually. That's the PID loop is now much better. It's better, but what is way better is that the threshold when the printer considers the temperature stable is now not so strict, because we now know that the Mini doesn't overshoot at all. It it heats up pretty precisely. So as soon as it hits like kind of the similar temperature that you want, it will just start moving, because by the time the printhead does anything, the temperature will be basically perfect.
So there have been a big refactoring of the whole heating part of the printer firmware. I'm not sure if all of it is right now in the 4.1 firmware, but the idea is that we are not just having two PID loops monitoring the temperatures, but basically the whole simulation of the input parameters and the temperature is running in there. And if something is off, so that the printer guesstimates how much duty cycle it should put into the heaters. And if it is off by way too much, we know that something is off. So we should be able to get all the safety features much less precise, that they will trigger just when it is needed.
Yeah. And there's lots more coming up. Scrolling firmware or scrolling file names, so now you don't have to worry about having too long of file names. And there's tons and tons of other things coming. If you want to see more, definitely go through and check the blog post and check the GitHub release notes. There's plenty of things in the new firmware, plenty of exciting things. Definitely worth going ahead and slapping the new firmware on your machine. And we've still got more coming. Things are already in the works for 4.2, including I saw language.
Yeah. I have a quick preview of the languages. I think I can just quickly. That's not released yet, so this is a firmware that
languages.
Yeah. So, bam, and it's translated into Czech.
Yeah, and if you check aficionado, how do you say it?
Aficionado.
Yeah, the diacritics will come soon too, because we have a lot of interesting markings on top of the letters. So it will be fully UTF-8 compatible in 4.3.
That's great. Well, yeah, lots of things coming in 4.1. More stuff coming in the future. You know, the Mini's just getting better as we do with all of our machines. You don't just necessarily buy a machine and that's as good as it comes out of the box. Things just keep on improving and keep changing. So definitely stay tuned, and we'll have more coming on Mini firmwares and firmwares for all the other machines too. I was thinking about it. We need to talk SL1 sometime on this show, because we kind of concentrate on all the FDM stuff, and we need to do some SL1 specific stuff.
The development of the SL1 firmware is still going very strong.
Yeah.
New stuff popping out all the time.
Yeah. I think there will be new firmware, I don't want to say soon, but relatively soon. So maybe when we release it, that's a nice topic for the stream.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. So let's bring our guest in this week. So we have Lauren Renee with us. I'm pulling her in. Let's see.
Hello.
There she is.
Hello.
Well, hey, Lauren.
Hello.
Is it Renee? I realize I'm not sure if I'm saying your last name correctly.
That's actually my middle name.
Oh, all right.
Last name is Ange.
Okay. I guess I screwed that up. I apologize.
That's okay. Everything on Twitter and everything says Lauren Renee.
Yes, so. Exactly. So I just went with that. I just always knew you as Lauren. Anyways, we have Lauren with us today.
Now we for years, and you were hiding your last name from us.
And Lauren runs Abuzz Designs, and Lauren also is one of the co-organizers of ERRF. And she's here to talk a little bit about both of those with us today. So thanks for coming on the show, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I see that nice stack of Prusas back there behind you. Very, very pretty shelf.
Yes, they're fantastic.
Including a Mini. We just got done talking about firmware 4.1. Have you upgraded yet?
I have not, but I will be this weekend.
All right, fantastic. I mean, when you're in production, it's not always smart to just jump on things right away. Like, make sure everything's going smoothly.
Yes, I've learned my lesson with that.
Yeah. So, what do you do with Abuzz Designs?
So I make magically inspired things for people who love Disney. My biggest products are Magic Band covers for people going to Walt Disney World. And then also cookie cutters for people who want to do some things at home. And that keeps me super, super busy. That's
super fun. I just this past Christmas, my mother already had a cookie cutter that she really liked, but she saw that there was one that already had frosting lines in it and things. Yeah. And she came to me and she's like, "Oh, can you redesign this cookie cutter for me so it has these frosting lines?" And I went out to Etsy and found somebody who already was selling it, and I was like, it's going to be much faster just to order it from them. And they were 3D printing cookie cutters, and so it was.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How you explain how is 3D printing important in just one afternoon? I mean, I hope at the end you make the cookie cutters yourself.
Yes, often, but also why not support people in the community that are doing it also? I mean, they were still 3D printing it, so yeah. but yeah, I mean, there's lots of opportunities there. So yeah, and your shop is an Etsy shop, right?
So it was until
okay.
about maybe a month or so ago when I switched to my own.
Very nice. Very
Yep.
nice. So yeah, I think we actually covered some of the stuff right in there. So you're also one of the co-organizers of ERRF too. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit, who aren't familiar, what exactly ERRF is? It's this kind of funny word that a lot of us talk about, MRF and ERRF and things.
So ERRF is a East Coast rap festival, which is where you get the initials ERRF from. And it is basically a place for all of the 3D printing loving people to congregate in one place and geek out over awesome technology and advancements that people have made and share projects, and just an awesome community space for all of us to get together and just have a good time talking about printing all weekend.
Yeah, I often kind of think about it of like, if you love Maker Faire and you go to Maker Faire, but you're like, man, I just want to see the 3D printing stuff and not all this other like craziness and everything else. Like ERRF and MRF are exactly that. It's just like super hardcore. Like, we love 3D printing for 2-3 straight days.
Last year's ERRF was amazing.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
Yeah, while we chat, I quickly put together some footage from last year, so I have 3 videos that we can just look at while we talk about it. But it was incredible. It was my first rap festival, and yeah, I had a really good time.
I guess I had forgotten that you had never made it over to MRF.
This was my first time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I have like,
it's really hard to explain how amazing it is until you're there.
Yeah.
When I say I quickly cut some footage, I have like 300 gigabytes from 2 days at ERRF. Right. It's ridiculous. I was just running around
so
with
much
camera.
To see.
Yeah. There's so much to see, so much going on, and last year was the second year of ERRF, and unfortunately, the Prusa team wasn't able to make it for the first year because there was a conflict going on that ERRF and the very first Prague Maker Faire happened on the exact same weekend.
Yep.
So it made it a little bit difficult for Prusa to be there, but we were there last year, and that's where we announced the Mini and had huge crowds in the booth all weekend checking out the Mini for the very first time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to see. It's always exciting when you see product launches happen at an event, but it's especially exciting for us as organizers to see something like that happen at our event. We're super, super proud.
It was funny how many people, especially Joe Kasha, trying to get by any means to see it sooner.
Yeah, and then people were buying it on the booth. Like, they came to the booth, they just looked at it from 2 meters, and they were like, oh, hell yeah. And I just saw people on the phone, like, ordering to be very early in the queue.
Yeah, and I think they were pretty smart because there were so many orders that, yeah, it is getting better, but...
Yeah, I think we could not have necessarily anticipated the response that we were going to get that weekend at ERRF. Like, we knew that the Mini was something special, but it was definitely the right time and the right place to release it, and the response was well beyond what we could have expected. I know we were all very excited through the entire weekend of that. So
the amount of PrusaPrinters on ERRF is a lot of fun for me when I was there.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
It is.
So what inspired you guys to actually create ERRF? Why did you say, you know what, we need to do this?
So my first MRF, which is the Midwest version, I believe was 2016, if I remember correctly. And at that event, we had thought, this is really, really cool, and I wish there was something closer to home. Not that I don't mind flying to Chicago and then driving a couple hours, but it just would have been nice for those people who couldn't or didn't have the ability to fly to Chicago to still be able to go to a really cool 3D printing event. So we kind of toyed with the idea back then, and just nothing really came of it that year. But the next year, that's when everything changed, and we decided this is going to happen. We are going to make sure that this happens. And so a team of us got together and just worked really hard to make sure that we could make it happen. And then we did.
Yeah, and I find it rather funny that you talk about like having this closer to home, because you know you're a fellow Mainer as myself, and ERRF happens down in Maryland, and so it's still a little bit of a haul for us way up here up north. But
don't talk about Murph for us.
Well, when are we gonna have Perf, the Prague RepRap Fest?
Oh,
I mean, it is kind of the Maker Faire.
It's similar.
But fortunately, we had to make it online version this year. But I mean, I think it was pretty successful for the occasion, and people were happy that something is still happening and not that just everything is canceled. So, what is the plan for this year's ERRF?
We decided to do a virtual event as well. It's going to be the same 2 days that we had originally intended on having it in Baltimore or in Bel Air. And it is going to be October 10th and 11th. And we're going to try our best to make it a unique experience that allows all of our exhibitors and sponsors that we've had in the past to still be able to showcase either cool projects they're working on or new products that they've been working on in a unique format that maybe helps minimize the loss of not having a public space like we normally do. We are going to have 3 streams that will be available on our website, and you can go to any of the 3 streams. One will be for sponsors and exhibitors. One will be for our build platform, which is all of the speakers that we have. And then the last one will be like a community and contest hangout. And that is kind of the 3 main things that we think of when we think of ERRF, is those 3 pillars. So we created 3 YouTube streams for them.
You also need to make, a late night stream for, after.
So there is going to be a late night hangout, and that will be, I believe, hosted by Makers on Tap.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And then I believe the 3D printing community hangout will be doing another one on another night.
That is wonderful.
We are joining. I'm pretty sure I sent you the registration. I hope.
Yep. Yes, we did get that.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, we're very excited. A lot of our sponsors who have been around, we opened this up first for any existing sponsors and exhibitors. We wanted to make sure to take care of the people who had helped us along the way. And a lot of people have joined on board, and we're really excited to have them back, even if it's not the capacity that we really wanted.
I mean, it is, everyone is fine, trust me, because no one really wants to risk life and well-being of their whole team.
Yeah.
That is why I basically canceled. But we knew very early, even before Murph was canceled, that we are not flying anywhere this year, because we fly 10 people, up to 30 times a year somewhere. So we are not going to put anyone at risk, and anybody who is sensible would still not fly over.
Yeah, and for us, we also didn't want to be the cause of anybody getting sick. Like even if we didn't get sick or, but we didn't want somebody to go to this event and then in turn get sick. So we just felt like it was an irresponsible thing to do, to keep trying to create an event in person. So that's when we switched to digital.
And trust me, when the content or the people who are doing the stream and the sponsors, if they are good people, it will be as much as fun as normally. And we had an experience with that, and the Maker Faire was wonderful. So you should not worry at all that it would be something less than the physical ERRF.
We're excited, and I think it will also just make next year's even more special, that we were able to keep it going in the interim, and next year will just be an amazing experience for everybody.
Kurt in chat is asking how did you start it with ERRF? He's thinking about starting a local event like this. So how did you start, guys?
So we have a team of 4 people. It's me, my husband Nick, Chris Pileski, and Vicky Soma, and each of us have a little bit different roles. things that we are particularly good at or things that are skills that would be helpful. We did create an LLC, which for us, business venture was important to do, so that we could make sure that any tax issues were taken care of and things. It is a legitimate business and we treat it as such. But then it's just a lot of trial and error, a lot of asking questions of sponsors who might be interested in going to it, and just kind of coming up with any crazy ideas that you possibly can, and then weeding out the ones that are unrealistic the first year or two, and then kind of going from there. And that's where like the 3D printed derby came from. It was just a crazy idea that we thought would be fun to play with, and a lot of people loved it, so we've done it every year.
Yeah. I would also, encourage people on this same side of thing. If you're thinking about doing one of these events, definitely get in touch with John Olofsson, who is the original creator of Murph, or one of the original creators of Murph, and talk to him, because it's also always good to, as you're kind of starting one of these things up, or doing things that are in the same kind of name, to kind of get a blessing from the godfather of the
and we did do that, and then we also talked to Adrian to get permission from him to use the RepRap name, and he was very cool about it. And we did make sure to talk to John and make sure that they were okay with us doing one on the East Coast before we started, because we didn't want to be so close to them that people felt like they couldn't go, that there's basically two in the same location.
Right.
So we made sure to go over that with them before we started it. Yeah.
And Adrian was actually a good point. That was one of the highlights for me last year was.
Oh yeah, definitely meeting Adrian.
ERRF was one of the first things that people were actually able to get Adrian over to meet people at, which was just huge win.
It was very exciting for us.
Watching and you're not sure who. What Adrian we're talking about Dr. Adrian Boyer, who's basically the father of desktop 3D printing. He started RepRap.
We would not be sitting here having this conversation in any way, shape, or form if it weren't for Adrian.
Yes.
No, and his keynote speech was fantastic. It was one of the highlights for sure.
It is funny because a couple of days ago, or maybe over a week ago, someone on Twitter was schooling me that MakerBot and Bits from Bytes brought desktop 3D printing, and I'm like, no.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, got to know your roots. So I've got a couple other questions here. Other than the Mini being released last year, did you have any other highlights of things that came to Earth that you really loved seeing?
Yeah, so I love seeing Protopasta's Filament line. I'd never had the opportunity to see Filament made in person, so it was very cool to be able to experience that, and it made me very excited to sign up for one of their in-person classes that they do. So we are hopefully going to go to that in September, assuming that flying is safe to do and everything. But that was really exciting. And being a former chef, I really, really loved Coco Press's chocolate printer.
Evan is awesome, and I am pushing him very hard to show off his machine on an upcoming Friday community call. So we will see if that happens. But yes, the Coco Press was awesome. And also to kind of elaborate on what you were talking about there, for those that kind of missed it, Protopasta actually brought an actual extrusion line and was live making filament at Earth. So people could kind of see what the process is to make filament. It wasn't a big fancy line like what we use for Prusament, but it was a line that could work. What was that, Joe?
I would say very basic line.
Yes. Yes, a very simple
Definitely. But
line.
as somebody who had never, I've been using Filament for years now, I had never seen it actually made. So it was really cool to be able to experience that, even knowing that it was a very basic system.
When it is safe, we need to bring you over.
You can see all the robot arms that make the filament and make your cocktails for you all at the same time. So All right. Well, Lauren, it was a pleasure having you. And we really appreciate finding out more about what's going on with ERRF. And we can't wait to be part of it. We will definitely be in touch with you about, what all the Prusa team will be doing at virtual ERRF this year. And yeah, it'll be great.
I look forward. Hopefully, maybe we have at least something small to show off.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
All right, Lauren, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will talk to you again soon.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I'm excited that ERRF is going to live on in at least a virtual form, as so many of these events are. We all kind of miss hanging out with each other and being around each other, but these things help.
I was just thinking about, it's not really my highlight from ERRF, but I can find a picture. But the time when we wrapped Sanjay from E3D and the black foil that we wrapped the printers in, I think that was pretty damn funny.
Or was it at our office? No, I think that was ERRF.
Yeah, that was at ERRF, yeah, in front of our booth when we were packing stuff.
Or when we accidentally shipped a flamethrower to the school grounds.
Not a flamethrower.
Yes, the not a flamethrower from ERRF was definitely an interesting adventure.
You can ask me about that when the normal in-person events start again. I will tell you the whole story. It is
yes, I'm very pleased that the ERRF team is still having us back after the not a flamethrower. So yes, okay. So we have been kind of crunched for time on some of the other streams recently, and so we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of time for Q&A this week. So we kind of cut Lauren and kind of cut the discussion of the new firmware for the Mini a little short, so that we make sure that we had time to answer the questions that you guys sent in, and we got a lot of great questions.
Okay. Let's.
We lost you there for a second, and the stream paused.
Is the stream up?
So we're back. What it looks like?
Oh, it looks like it's coming back.
Yeah, I think.
Good. Did the cleaning lady yank the Ethernet cable?
Oh no, I'm here totally alone. But yeah, but now I need to. 1 second. I need to also capture your audio again, because somehow all of this got very wrong very quickly. Okay, try speaking, you guys.
Hello.
Yeah, looks good. Okay, sorry, we're back.
All right, we're back.
Something crashed.
That's great. So, Joe, your favorite color is royal blue. Mickey, what are you into from the Prusa line?
That's like my favorite.
I know, it's like picking your favorite child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because both of us know this hard question.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with lime green, but really there are I would need at least 5 colors to name to be really satisfied with my answer.
You were showing little clips from ERRF, and you had that MOA printing in that lime green, and we were showing off that for the very first time at ERRF, and it just reminded me how badly I need to get a hold of a spool of that, because it is such a great color.
We didn't release it for a long time.
This is the royal blue, which was that was also announced at ERRF, right? I think there were 2 colors that we had. It's that lime green and
okay, we still are not perfect. Now, there's echo for the 2 of you. So, I will fix that. You can chat meanwhile.
Alright. So, meanwhile, if people would be interested, what is the generally most product, or at least by the sales numbers, we sell the most of PETG jet black. That I guess the most versatile, and we use it for basically everything.
Mystic Green is mine. I love the Mystic Green. How are we doing there?
I have no idea what happened. Oh, I have now you in my speakers, but obviously the audience has echo, and it apparently sounds not great.
No way to understand.
Yeah,
they say still getting an echo.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry guys, we were having the technical difficulties. This is what happens when you do things live, right? Like sometimes the internet just goes away.
I will switch the audio output now, so.
And now as we are breaking. So,
yeah. Hopefully,
thank you. We appreciate that you understand. Some people are saying double capture. I don't know if like there's two captures going on.
Oh, I see what they're saying. Try speaking.
Hello. Some people are saying fixed. No more echo. Back to normal.
Okay.
All right. It looks like we're good. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it. Okay. Next question. This is also from Zach Smith. This one's a little bit of a tricky one. And he wants to know what your thoughts are about all the clones out there. Are you proud that there's so many like different variations on the i3, or does it make you upset and make you regret going open source?
I mean, we were talking about this in one of the earlier streams. It is definitely. I mean, the open source is wonderful, and RepRap project started it that way, and I really like that people can add stuff to what we do and help keep us pushing the industry forward. But over the last 2 years, as the cheap Chinese printers, which just repackage the same stuff all over again in just different frames, no real electronics and firmware development or the slicer per se. So they just killed the innovative companies, and they just make the 1-to-1 clones. So I mean, it is not going to make us switch away from being open source, but definitely the reason why I started and kept it open source for all these years is 99% it's not there, because the industry as a whole is not evolving as it was before. Because as I said,
absolutely. I mean, it's been kind of sad, to see a lot of the great, original companies that were in this that are not around anymore, and how many of the new and upcoming companies are just basically the same machine, with very, very, very little changes or upgrades or anything like that. And so
there is a giant push on the price. It is very difficult.
Yeah.
The development, we now have around 80 developers, and that is a significant part of the printer cost. And I mean, if everyone wants just a cheap printer, some companies can do it, but they will never be able to innovate, because it is just cost of the parts without much support and without much development.
Right, and the whole industry will end up being stagnant if that happens. So, we hope that everything can continue going the way we've been doing it, and see how things goes.
We are in for long run, and nobody has to worry about us.
Yeah.
But it's just sad that there are not many companies which are trying to push the 3D printing, or at least the desktop printing, forward. And I guess that is why you see most of the companies who are trying to do something go to the high end or the professional segment, even though it's sometimes questionable if the printers belong there. They just don't want to mess with the Chinese, but we are not afraid about that.
I think we're frozen again.
I think we are all being hurt, but Zoom
not video.
Zoom is not having a good time. Yeah.
Can you guys tell us if the audio's there? Yeah, audio, no video.
Yeah. Now video is now back, but I don't know what it's doing. It's
I mean, Nicholas froze.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I see video back again.
Yeah, it's gonna get away again. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it is
All
what
right.
it is.
Guys, we're just going to keep pushing through and hoping for the best. We apologize for the technical difficulties here, but we're gonna do what we can. So Ahmed Bakrama, no, Ahmed Bamakarama. There, I think that's it. He asked. He received his Prusa Mini 2 weeks ago. And he wants to know if the new firmware is already installed or if he would need to install it himself. And also, is there any tutorial on using Prusa Slicer, or would it be possible for him to use Cura on it?
So there are multiple things. So the firmware, generally, it depends. Sometimes the printers are going around the factory for over a week. So there is no true date. The rule of thumb is that a week, sometimes 2 weeks after we release it on GitHub, it goes into the production after some more testing, because we need to test how the firmware goes through the production line.
We lost Mickey again, which means we probably lost the whole stream again.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys.
No, it looks like we're still good.
Yeah,
okay.
We're good. I
Okay.
just don't have video. I gave up.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So
There was one more question.
right.
That was the Cura. We strongly suggest to use the Prusa Slicer because you would be losing a lot of features with the Cura, and it is really not that hard, and you have very nice presets made in the Prusa Slicer, and you will have the one-click printing and exact print times directly in it. And once the Prusa Connect starts rolling out, you will be able to send the prints directly to the printer and all this kind of stuff. So
yeah, and if we don't have a tutorial, maybe we can work on one sometime in the near future. Okay. Julian Michael asked, is it possible to get a feature in Prusa Slicer to stamp logos on models to print them with the MMU2? I'm not entirely sure what he means here, but I would
exactly know what he means, and it is planned, but not actually. It is quite difficult. Basically, imagine that you want to emboss a design, or imagine like rubber stamping.
Yeah.
I originally got the idea for doing like the recyclable marks for the plastics, so you could mark what plastic the print is out of before you start the print, but also if you want to put a logo on it and stuff. But that is quite difficult. But the groundwork is being laid down for it with the custom supports, which will be in the upcoming Prusa Slicer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mickey and I had a conversation a couple months ago about how nice it would be to be able to like put the recycling numbers on PETG prints, so that you could toss PETG prints into your recycling. And
in general, I would like to have like the whole, the whole thing, not just the stamps for logos, but the whole like texturing the model in different ways.
Yeah.
Not just get the color, but also different textures and stuff like that. And we will be having like the paint subsystem done for the supports in the next version.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely my camera has moved, Justin. I don't know why. That was definitely something that I had a thought on recently, that I have some good ideas to talk about texturing. Anyways,
while we had Laura, someone was asking if it's okay to leave the spools of Filament out, just like she had it behind her.
That really depends where you live. I mean, for example, in the climate we have here now, I never had to put anything if it wasn't anything into enclosure, PLA, PETG, or anything like that, except from nylons and some straight polycarbonates. The PC blend we have, you don't have to, but I mean, depends on the humidity and temperature, and we really test everything, and also the time.
Yeah, generally, like with PLA and PETG, if you're gonna use the spool in a reasonable amount of time, I think it's fine. But yeah, it depends.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who do, you know, say that they have problems with humidity with their filaments and things like that. But it really does depend on where you live. I live in a fairly non-humid area, and I've never really had any significant problems with it. Most of my filament is out and about, and it can last years like that, and it's fine. But definitely, if you live in the South and you keep your printer in your garage, and it's constant heavy humidity, that may not be a great idea. So bagging it at least is a good idea.
I mean, I would say the good rule of thumb is to when you plan to print tomorrow a different print from the same filament you have loaded in your printer, just leave it there. But if you know that it is that special filament you use once every 3 months, I would just pack it.
Yeah. We have a few questions. The obligatory Excel, MMU3, Mini 2. We've talked about this kind of with Matt before we started. Matt, you wanna take this one?
Yeah. So some of the questions out there about the Excel and things like that, I definitely suggest going and watching back to previous episodes and watching episode number 1. We talk about the Excel pretty in depth there.
You shouldn't tell the episode number.
Yeah, go watch them all in reverse order until you find it. So we've definitely covered the Excel, but we're getting a lot of questions of people asking, is there going to be a mini V2? Maybe someday, but the V1 is still a baby, and we're pushing out new firmware updates. There's more stuff coming to it, on the software side of things, and we definitely haven't hit the limits of the hardware on the mini V1 so far. So there's and what was that, Joe?
There's still plenty of stuff we can do, and we also want everyone to tell us what they want, because then based on that we prioritize.
Yeah.
But I just looked on the chat and I see from Bear99 giving a shout out to Stellar support. So I would love the support guys to hear this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, more stuff will be coming for sure, but there's a lot of people who still need to get their mini V1s that they've already ordered before we start worrying about the mini V2s.
I mean, it is first in, first out, and it is rolling. So right now the wait time, I would say, it's around 2 months. So it is not that people are waiting since the launch day. Sometimes people misunderstand it, that when they see it's on back order on the website, that we still haven't shipped any. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands out there.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of people already with their minis, and they definitely seem to be loving them.
Yeah, and we would love to answer, take you to our development and show you everything that we're working on, but really, there's no way that we can do that. So if you're asking about a new product, you have to expect that we can't answer that.
Yeah. All right, I want to get one more question in here, because I think it's kind of a pretty inspirational question here, which is, this is from one of our Reddit users, Imaginaric guy. He says he's really curious to know where we think, and really I think this question is to you, Joe. Where will 3D printing be in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see the industry really going?
That depends. In the desktop, I would say the hardware is going to get much simpler in a way that you don't have. It will do the work for you. You don't have to, know that many things. For example, as we started with the Mark III, adding more sensors, that will be the trend for the upcoming machines too. So the printer can diagnose itself, so you don't have to know everything, and that will go also with the software, where it will be thinking instead of you, so you could just throw models at it, and you really wouldn't have to worry about being the 3D printing wizard to get 99% success rate. And also, I would say the printer will get much more connected, and there's when people ask me about when the 3D printers will be widespread, I say it's not just a question of the 3D printer itself, but also about the modeling software, which I think with the recent new things in AI and photogrammetry and some easy modeling softwares will be also much easier, because if the printer itself is very easy to use, but it is still very difficult to model, to make the designs for it, it still wouldn't be very successful. But these are a few main areas which I think will be the most developed in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that, where we've seen is we're starting to see machines that create really solid, good prints. The prints are getting better and better. But the key is the usability side until we get kind of to that point where it's like your inkjet printer at home, where anyone can use it. There's still a ton of room for improvement.
I don't understand how the big companies can sell the 2D printers without doing like live chat support, because I mean every time
they're such a nightmare to use.
Well, yeah,
single paper, which is like once in 2 months, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I have to reinstall the drivers. I mean, if 3D printers would be as bad as the 2D printers, anyone, I mean, oh my god.
I got to say, this is why I switched over to just a black and white laser printer for my home printer, and it's a lot more reliable.
I mean, if we would make like A4 size printer with laser, so it would be just black, I mean, basically laser cutter, it would be much more reliable than the
right. Yeah. So I appreciate everyone joining in, and we appreciate everyone's time for tuning in with us week after week. You guys have really made this awesome. But that is our stream for this week.
Yeah. I saw Steven Erickson in the chat. Hello, hi man. Maybe I can answer the question next time. Sorry.
All right. So that's our stream, and again, we appreciate you all coming. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and good luck, stay safe, and keep on printing. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.